So taking a more in-depth look at some of the things of defeating the monsters in your mind, we look at the 5 questions, recognizing what they are. The who, what, where, when, and why again. Who are your monsters? And like I said before, it can be the opponent you're playing, the day you're playing, the surroundings you're in. Okay, what are they? My fear of my strokes, the fear of my equipment, the internal, external thoughts as we go through. So the first step is to recognize what is making you afraid, what's affecting your critical performance. You've done these skills for hours on the court with your super coach and your personal coach. You've talked about the game plans. You have to recognize what it is that's distracting you. And it's different for each person. For example, one of the critical performance levels is when you're down, or when you're up 4-1 or 5-2. It's called the hourglass. Visualize an hourglass with the sand in the top. The player on top has a lot of thoughts, but only 1 or 2 thoughts are coming through at a time. He's performing really well. On the bottom, the guy is being inundated with, oh no, this is coming down, I should be playing better, I should have fixed my shoes, I didn't get my racket ready. He has all these distracting thoughts about why he's not performing at a high level. At 4-1 or 5-2, the player on the bottom finally realizes, I'm going to lose if I don't do something different. So eventually he says, I'm just going to go to the net, I'm just going to hit hard, I'm going to lob every ball. It doesn't matter, as long as they choose one thought. The more thoughts you have, the more disconnected you become. So the player who's losing now says, okay, I'm just going to attack. That may be his choice in that situation. The player on top, who was up 4-1 or 5-2, now says, let's see, 2 more games and I'll win the first set, then I'll serve first in the second set. And all of a sudden they begin to have multiple thoughts. So the hourglass just switched. The person who had very few thoughts but lots of knowledge now has lots of thoughts and his knowledge doesn't come through. The player who was worried about everything now goes on top and he has no thoughts except get to the net, lob, whatever you're going to do. So think about the hourglass and be aware at 4-1 and 5-2, the hourglass is most likely to switch. So that's an example of how you start to face situations when the score is involved. So much of what we do in life is based on our preparation. Did you prepare your equipment? Did you string your rackets correctly? Did you logo your rackets if you're sponsored by someone? Are your shoes correct for what you're going to play? Do you have a spare pair of shoes in case something breaks? Did you have dry socks if you have a long set and you have to split sets? Did you have enough water? Did you prepare to have an energy bar with you? The preparation to perform is really critical to how we actually perform. The more I prepare, the more confident I feel inside. I'm not worried about my strings breaking. I'm not worried about if I'm going to have enough water. So we challenge you as we go through our series of e-coach or e-coach topics about looking at your performance level prior to performance. There's also at the end of the match. At the end of the match, there's 5 questions you ask. Number 1, what did I do best today? And typically the response is, I lost. I didn't do anything really good. I said, no, there must have been something you did good. The score was 3-3. What was it? And you try to get the player to perform logically in that situation, not emotionally. What did your opponent do best? Everything. He was incredible. I couldn't get a ball by him. He didn't make any errors today. I said, no, it was 6-3, 6-3. You won some games. He must have made some errors. What did you do? What was his strengths? Everything. No, it was just his serve. He served really well. Okay, great. We can deal with that. The next question, then the third question would be, what was your weakness today? Everything. I lost. I said, no. What shot in particular caused you to lose the most points? Where did you feel the most defensive in the situation? And the player can come up with an answer. The fourth question then is, what did your opponent do worse? How did you win points? How did you attack him? And finally, the fifth question is, if you could replay your match again right now, how would you play differently? So the 5 questions are, what did you do best? What did he do best? What was your weakness? What was his weakness? And if you could replay it again, how would you play it again? So that's how we look at breaking down a performance after the match. Never when the player comes off the court. Only after you've had time to emotionally come down. The worst thing you do is come off the court and your coach jumps on you, well, you didn't get your first serve in, we worked on that and you didn't play the strategy we had. I'm just emotionally involved in the point. Give me time to come down so I can get my emotions out, think logically, be able to perform at a higher level in that situation. So that's getting prepared before the match and at the end of the match. Later on, we'll deal with how to deal with the middle of the match and what to do in that situation.